Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, most people are very concerned about preparing their home for sale. Many want to know what steps to take to make the most money out of that transaction. What are some key things that home sellers need to do to get their home ready for sale, especially as there are fewer buyers in the marketplace right now?
Well, Richard, what I'm finding across the board, both with my listings and with the reaction of buyers in the market right now, is the buyers are very picky. So your house has to be all the stars have to align. It has to be spot on with pricing, with preparation, with marketing, with condition. You can't just throw it on the market and look at similar sales and say, oh, they'll forgive me if, the carpet is tired and old, because they won't. I've had buyers agents threaten offers and try to work out closing dates. And the next thing I know, they're ghosting me, and turns out, oh, we found a home that was more updated. It's like, why are we having this discussion? Because I have to tell the seller somebody wants to make an offer, but she didn't make an offer. So their selling skills are bad because it's just 1 month of school to be a real estate agent in the state of Colorado. The buyers have a lot of choices. Plus, there's a huge cancellation rate once they do get under contract. It's at somewhere around 25 to 30% of buyers are walking away right now after they have executed a contract, maybe paid for an inspection, paid for an appraisal, and then they bail out. So it's critical that you get all three of the P's right to motivate the buyer enough to take it to the finish line. That means it has to be priced right. And in this market, you have to be below similar sales. That means it has to be prepared properly, no deferred maintenance. I mean, all of it has to be fixed. It has to be promoted right. You have to have really, really good pictures to get the buyers in the door. And it's really important that you pick the right agent that can help you along that journey. So a lot of people don't really study anything about picking a real estate agent. They will just go with somebody that was referred to them, somebody they knew, somebody that sold them the home. But most of the finance experts say interview a couple of agents and then pick one and make it logical. Like the logical thing is, what criteria are you using to decide to pick an agent? Is it based on that agent is the best one for the job? Is it based on, oh, I like that agent, they're a nice person, but can they really get you to the finish line? There actually is no predetermined way. So how does somebody decide how they're going to pick a real estate agent? And the facts from Zillow say that most sellers will basically just work with the first one that they spoke with. Like they won't even interview to see what options there are out there, because the assumption is the performance of a real estate agent, as far as what they offer, what they do, all those things. The assumption is that they're all the same. It's a generic process, like going to buy a car. And it's not a generic process. It's only 1 month of school to be a real estate agent. There's very little standardization, very little training, and they just throw you to the wolves. So what we're offering our listeners is a free agent selection guide. You can go to barbhasthebuyers.com, click on the green button to download that. But it really does start with, how are you going to approach selling this home? Now, I have had some sellers decide not to do the big, make it look pretty scenario, and they basically sell it as is, which is fine, but there has to be an alternative price for that. You can't expect full market value if your home has deferred maintenance. And we were able just to pull it off recently in a couple areas of town where the sellers knew that the home needed work, but they priced it below market value, so much so that we got a great turnout when we initially launched it to the market. We got multiple offers, and we ended up getting over asking price for both of those sales. Now, another option, of course, could be some people just don't want to deal with strangers coming through their house at all. And we have a solution for that as well. We have cash buyers, we have local cash buyers, we have other cash buyers. And typically, I'm showing up on any appointment with as many as 6 or 8 offers on your home, not just from the cash buyers, but also from the buyers that we pre populated into our proprietary website that are looking for homes that match your criteria. The other question is, do I move out first? A lot of people think they have to move out first to sell their home. And I don't really think that's necessary. I really feel like homes look better with some furniture in it, but you do have to pare it down and declutter and get rid of excess stuff. Otherwise, you don't want to be so cluttered that the buyers can't see past the clutter. They can't visualize themselves in the home. So if you're going to get a traditional sale, which is what I call a live in the home type of buyer, number one, you got to make sure the house is spotless, clean everything, the baseboards, the front door, the curb appeal. There's 6 rooms you have to get right, or they're not even going to show up. Number one is curb appeal. Now, this time of year, it's very hard to grow grass. It can be done, but it's tricky and you have to water it all the time. It's also difficult to get flowers to bloom this time of year. There's all these different factors that play into it. So it's really, really important that you focus on, at the very least, either rock or mulch your flower beds area. Make sure your mailbox isn't broken. Make sure your front door is painted, just little stuff like that, where as they're approaching the front door, visually they feel like they have the impression that it's been well cared for. Things like door hardware, all that kind of stuff. Number two, when you're cleaning, be extra careful about odors. I had a broker say one time to me years ago, I thought it was funny, but it's true. He goes, if you can smell it, you can't sell it, which is true. You can't overdo odors. Like you can't put those air fresheners in the outlet. And so for some buyers, that smell is so strong and so overwhelming that they first of all assume that you're covering something up. Second of all, it's kind of too much, like it's overwhelming. People with allergies can't take it. Make sure all your trash is taken out. Make sure any pet things are cleaned up and neutralized. Clean the windows, refresh the screens. A lot of times the screens get beat up with the weather that we have around here. Clean your light fixtures. I'll never forget one day I showed a house and it was so gross to me. I walked into the bedroom and it had a ceiling fan hanging from the low ceiling. And no kidding, Richard, it had about an inch thick of dust on the top of the blades. Is that gross or what?
It's gross just hearing you say that,
It was
Barb.
like, oh, really? And it was a simple thing to fix. Even replace the light fixtures if they're old and tired and broken or don't match. You also need to depersonalize your home. Everything off the counters, everything off the kitchen counters, tabletop counters, get rid of the doilies, as cute as they are. Most buyers, wood looks a lot prettier and it photographs better. Magnets on the refrigerator, dish towels hanging from whatever. It's okay to have a family picture here and there, but if you cover the entire wall of your life story, it's overwhelming, it's distracting, and the buyers just don't like it. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. And we're talking about how to sell your house in a tough market. And next up, we're going to talk about some key tips to help you get your home ready for sale. And if you're interested in finding more about how you can get information on interviewing agents, go to barbhasthebuyers.com, click on the seller guide. There's a couple of reports there that are free, like 10 questions to ask before you hire an agent. It's really great stuff. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And remember, you can listen to replays of the show anytime on all of the major podcast platforms, as well as Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Schlinker. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900. Now, Barb, we're talking about how to sell your home in a tough market. What are some of your other tips?
Well, there was a time when people had heavy drapes on windows, and those I bought some. They were very expensive to get this heavy fabric, like you'd see the Queen of England have, and they're all kind of drapey looking around the windows. I mean, it was pretty for its time, but now it's out of style. You really want to take those down and just replace with shears if you can. Also, open up the blinds, open up the shades. You want it light and bright in the home. Lighten up the bedding. If you have a dark kind of brocade looking bedspread, replace it with a light bedspread and remove any excess furniture. Now, it's hard for people to see that when they live in the home. They think it looks fine, right? But that's part of our services that we actually include a staging consult. So we have an interior designer come over and take a look at your space and your furniture and give you tips on what to put away, what to move, what to do and what not to do to get ready for photo day, because that is your first showing. If you don't get photo day right, the buyers won't come and see your house. And it has to be everything, not just the photos. It has to be the price, the marketing, the whole picture. Also, consider staging. So a lot of people will move out first for whatever reason, or their stuff isn't that pretty. So my staff can take a picture of a room and completely empty it out, and then we can take that empty room and digitally put furniture in there. We have done that multiple times just to get the buyers to come. Or you could bring in furniture. We've also done that for some of our clients as well, where we actually bring in furniture to make the home show better. It's pretty expensive. It costs anywhere from I'd say $1,500 to $2,500. Some of the stagers charge that amount per month. I don't. But it's expensive, but it's worth it. According to the National Association of Realtors, a seller will net anywhere from $3,000 to $15,000 more by having a staged versus not staged home. And I really feel like it's sort of it's a how we're wired thing. Like if I go into an empty room and somebody says, okay, how are you going to decorate this? I would have no clue. But if you ask people that have that artistic brain, they can look at that clean palette and know exactly what they're going to do with it. So I'm not wired to do it. That's why I bring in help to do it. But a lot of agents don't study this craft enough to really pay attention. That's why in 2024, 71% of agents sold 0 homes, right? Because they don't know how to market, how to get business, how to do the skills that the consumer expects you to do, which is to negotiate, to promote, all these kind of things. And buyers are much more selective now, but you have to pass that very first test, which is the online showing, which is your first showing. And we know how to do that. So if you'd like to find out more, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker. This is Your Real Estate Voice. And if you're thinking of selling your home, you want to get the most amount of money for it, then call Barb, 719-301-3900. Or, of course, you can visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be covering why do people do off-market sales in Colorado and exactly what is that? Barb will explain when we come back.